The restaurant lights glowed soft and golden that Tuesday evening. Natalie Bennett sat at a corner table, tugging at her oversized beige sweater. She'd chosen it deliberately. Baggy. Shapeless. Her hair was pulled back in a messy bun. No makeup except a touch of lip balm. Gray jeans that had seen better days. This was a test, and she was tired of failing. Her best friend Caroline had set up this blind date. His name is Owen. He's successful, handsome, perfect for you. Natalie had heard that before. 3 times in the past year. 3 men who'd seemed charming at first, who'd said all the right things, who'd pursued her with flowers and expensive dinners. Then, once they got what they wanted, they vanished. One even had the nerve to say she was too much work for a relationship. So tonight, Natalie decided to try something different. She would show up as her most basic self. No designer dress. No carefully styled hair. No effort to impress. If this Owen person couldn't see past an old sweater and messy hair, then he wasn't worth her time anyway. The door opened. A man walked in. Tall, brown hair styled perfectly. A dark navy suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Sharp jawline. Confident walk. He looked around the restaurant and his eyes found hers. Natalie's heart sank. This was Owen. Of course, he looked like he'd stepped out of a magazine. Of course, he was exactly the type who'd judge her appearance. He walked to her table and smiled. Natalie, that's me. I'm Owen Sinclair. It's nice to meet you. He sat down across from her. Natalie waited for it. The flicker of disappointment in his eyes. The quick glance at his watch. The sudden excuse about an early meeting tomorrow. But it didn't come. Instead, Owen leaned forward slightly, his blue eyes focused entirely on her face. Caroline told me you're an art teacher, he said. That must be rewarding work. Natalie blinked. Yes, I teach at Lincoln Elementary. 3rd graders mostly. What made you want to teach art? She hadn't expected real questions. My grandmother was a painter. She used to say that art teaches children to see the world differently, to find beauty in ordinary things. I wanted to pass that on. Owen nodded slowly. Your grandmother sounds wise. She passed away 5 years ago, but I think about her every day. The waiter came. Owen ordered wine and asked Natalie what she'd like for dinner. She chose the simplest thing on the menu, a pasta dish. He ordered the same. So, Natalie said, deciding to take control of the conversation. What do you do, Owen? I work in investments. That's vague. He smiled. I suppose it is. I buy companies that are struggling and try to turn them around. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sounds stressful. It can be, but it's also satisfying when you save jobs. When you help something broken become whole again. Natalie studied him. He seemed genuine. But then again, they all seemed genuine at first. Their food arrived. They ate slowly. Owen asked her about her students, about her favorite artists, about where she grew up. He listened to every answer like it mattered, like she mattered. Halfway through dinner, Natalie couldn't take it anymore. Why are you being so nice to me? Owen looked confused. What do you mean? I mean, look at me. I'm wearing a sweater that's 2 sizes too big. My hair is a mess. I didn't even put on real makeup. And you're sitting there in your expensive suit acting like I'm the most interesting person you've ever met. Owen set down his fork. You think I care about your sweater? Most men would. I'm not most men. That's what they all say. He leaned back in his chair. Natalie, can I be honest with you? Please. When I walked in here tonight and saw you, do you know what I thought? That you've been set up with someone who doesn't own a mirror? Owen shook his head. I thought, Here's a woman who's comfortable enough with herself that she doesn't need to perform, who doesn't need to hide behind designer clothes or perfect hair, who's willing to just be herself. Do you have any idea how rare that is? Natalie felt her throat tighten. You're lying. I'm not. Men don't think that way. Some men don't, but I do. He paused. My mother raised me and my sister alone after my father left. She worked 2 jobs, came home exhausted every night, but she never complained, never pretended things were perfect when they weren't. She taught me that real beauty isn't about appearance. It's about character, about honesty, about showing up as you are. Natalie felt tears building behind her eyes. I dressed like this on purpose, to test you, to see if you'd run away. I know. You know. Caroline warned me you might. She said you'd been hurt, that you were protecting yourself. I don't blame you for that. Natalie wiped her eyes with her napkin. This is humiliating. No, it's human. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Owen reached across the table and gently took her hand. Can I tell you something else? Natalie nodded. Even if you'd shown up in a ball gown and perfect makeup, I still would have been interested. Because Caroline also told me about how you spend your weekends volunteering at the Children's Hospital, teaching art to kids who are sick, bringing them joy when they need it most. That's the woman I wanted to meet, not some version of you dressed up for my benefit. The tears came then, real ones. Natalie tried to pull her hand away, but Owen held it gently. I've been hurt too, he said quietly. Women who wanted my money, my connections, my name, who pretended to care about me, but really just cared about what I could give them. So I understand why you're scared, why you're testing me. But I'm going to tell you something my mother told me after my worst heartbreak. She said, if you let fear choose your future, you'll never know what love could have been. Natalie looked at him through her tears. Your mother sounds as wise as my grandmother. They probably would have been friends. They finished dinner slowly, talking about everything, their childhoods, their dreams, their fears. Owen told her about building his investment firm from nothing, about the failures that taught him humility, about the success that taught him gratitude. Natalie told him about her failed relationships, about her fear of never finding someone who loved her for herself, about her students who reminded her daily that goodness still existed in the world. When the check came, Owen paid without making a show of it. They walked outside together. The night air was cool. City lights reflected off windows above them. Can I see you again? Owen asked. You actually want to? Natalie, I haven't stopped wanting to since the moment you sat down across from me in that terrible sweater. She laughed. A real laugh. It is a terrible sweater, isn't it? The worst. But somehow you made it look right. He called her the next morning. And the morning after that. They went on a second date. Then a third. Natalie wore jeans and a simple blouse. Owen wore casual clothes. They went to the art museum, walked through the park, got coffee from a street vendor. On their fourth date, Natalie finally asked a question that had been bothering her. Owen, how successful are you exactly? He hesitated. Does it matter? No, but I'd like to know who I'm spending time with. I'm very successful, more than most people. My company is worth several $100 million. Natalie stopped walking. You're a billionaire. Almost. Close enough that the distinction doesn't.